This edition of the Impact Podcast is brought to you by ERI. ERI has a mission to protect people, the planet, and your privacy, and is the largest fully integrated IT and electronics asset disposition provider and cybersecurity-focused hardware destruction company in the United States, and maybe even the world. For more information on how ERI can help your business properly dispose of outdated electronic hardware devices, please visit eridirect.com. Welcome to another edition of the Impact Podcast. I'm so honored. This is our first show ever that we've done an interview in about 14 years of doing this show from Israel. So welcome to the show. Oshik Efrati, he's the co-founder and CEO of Home Biogas. It's an honor to have you today.
It's an honor to me too. Thank you, John. A pleasure to be here.
As you just said off the air when we were chatting, just for truth in advertising, we're connected because we have the same big brother. Ron Gonen is our big brother with Closed Loop Partners. And so it's an honor to be connected with such a great company on the other side of the world.
You're right. It's a great honor to be part of the Closed Loop mission.
That's right. You know, Oshik, we want to talk about all the great work you're doing at Home Biogas. But before we get there, can you share a little bit about yourself? Because there's so many entrepreneurs that watch this show, listen to this podcast, and they say, I want to be the next one. I want to be Oshik one day. I want to solve a big problem on this planet. How did you get started, and where were you born, and where were you educated?
All right. So first of all, I'm a father of two. I have two little kids. One is 5 and one is 7 years old. We live in Israel. I was born in Israel. My education, I studied marine biology. And during my studies, I already started to invent products. At the beginning, it was things for filters for water purification filters for outdoor use. I discovered that I'm good at it. I like it. I like to develop things. I love to solve problems.
When you were growing up, was mom and dad, what were they inventors? Were they business people? What did they do for a living? What informed you in your childhood?
Yeah, so actually my parents are immigrants from Morocco. My father was a gardener. And my grandfather was a farmer.
Wow.
So they actually were not highly educated. They were simple people,
okay,
hardworking. And as a kid and a teenager, I was working with my father a lot. And my father gave me a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And when I was a teenager, he already gave me the responsibility to run projects, sometimes complicated projects. And he gave me also space to do mistakes.
That's good.
And I think I learned a lot from it. After I finished high school, I went to the military, like all young Israelis. And I had the privilege to serve in an elite unit that was it's actually a special unit, and I was there in this special unit for 5 years. After 2.5 years, I became an officer, and I was a commander of a team, and then a commander of a platoon. And I learned a lot during this time on leadership and on actually, managing complex situation, go through challenges, leading people to
as an American, excuse my ignorance, as an American, I've learned that the elite units are often in Israel, the Mossad. Was that part of the group you were part of, or some other elite unit there? Help me out.
Yeah, so the Mossad is normally, it's not belong to the military.
Okay.
But yeah, in the military, there are mandatory 3 years that everybody need to serve for
Right.
3 years. So
Right.
the women's actually are serving for 2 years. So
wow.
Yeah. And because I was in a special unit and I was an officer, so I stayed for another 2 years. So in total, 5 years.
And that's what informed your leadership style, and you learned a lot about leadership when you were going through that experience.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it shaped my perspective on how to lead people and how to make them follow you. And it's all about self-example and
that's right,
and courage and values.
That's really true. Yeah. Courage, yeah, and values. What made you? Now you had great experience. You had great values growing up with family that tended to the earth, farmers and people that worked on the earth. Some of my in-laws are farmers. They come from a farming background. So there's great appreciation from your family with regards to the planet. Now you learned leadership skills in the military. What was your aha moment that said, okay, I want to take my background and my skills that I've learned and want to be an entrepreneur? When was that moment in your life?
Yeah, so this has happened even before the military. I think it's something that was first when I was 16. I was already an entrepreneur. I ran, a small business of cleaning cars, and then taking care of people's gardens. But I think that in the military, the patriotism to protect the country was very strong. And then when I finished the military reserve, this patriotism of taking care of only my country become bigger, and it's become bigger and wider to taking care of Earth.
Right.
I was traveling actually for 3 years around the world after I finished my military.
Oh.
So I was in Africa and in South America, Central America, Europe, US, Canada, and I've seen different cultures, and I saw beautiful places. And after this trip, my perspective, I think I was not only Israeli or Jewish anymore. I was more open.
You were
more universal, more universal.
You know what I call that? That's so fascinating you said that, because it's so interesting when you meet people that never travel out of their own city or country where they grew up. They have a limited view, but because you traveled, you went from, like you said, just being an Israeli citizen, now you became a global citizen.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, for example, when I was in Africa, I've seen every day, I've been 1 year in Africa, and every day I've seen a line of women that are going back from the forest with woods on the head and little children on the back. And actually, at the beginning, I thought that it was really romantic.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. They're going, they live on a natural way. But then you start to understand that actually they're coming home, and when you visit them in their small homes, you see them cook. And actually, you cannot stay for more than 1 minute.
Wow.
Here, amazing women, because the smoke that the fire is making is actually killing you.
Chokes you. Your air.
Chokes you, yeah. 1 hour of cooking, it's like smoking 400 cigarettes.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then you discover that it's actually causing the death of 4 million women's and children every year, only from cooking. And then I discovered that it's a massive cause of deforestation. That the forest is the land. It's the,
Right.
it's the length of the length of the world. So, and then you understand that it's not romantic at all.
It's not romantic, right?
A huge problem,
Yeah.
and someone needs to do something about it.
Right.
So
How big?
yeah.
So when did you have the aha moment with your partners? How many partners did you have, Oshik? How many partners do you have?
Yeah, so actually, gladly, we have a lot of partners today, but at the beginning, we started at three.
Right.
We have three founders.
Three founders.
Me, Erez, and Yair. We are good friends, and this is very, very unique. We are partners not only in the business, we also very, very good friends, and we share the same values and we share the same vision.
Now, so how big is this problem? You decided to tackle the food waste industry, the composting issue of recycling food waste. How big is this problem, Oshik, of food waste in Israel and around the world?
Yeah, so the food waste. First of all, now we are in a time. We are living in this year is a very special year. It's actually 2021 is a turning point on the way we are understanding, the world is understanding the climate change. It's a turning point. It's the year where governments, organizations, people understand that the climate change is something real, that we need to do. We need to change our behavior to tackle it. So from that perspective, which is the most important one for me, food waste is, greenhouse gases. The most little greenhouse gas is methane. It's
right.
the strongest. It's one of the strongest greenhouse gases. Now, 70% of the methane is produced from food waste. Okay.
Wow.
70% of the methane is produced from food waste. So if you can treat it in a way that will eliminate the methane that comes out of it, the benefit for the planet is huge. Now, another perspective, food waste is just growing year by year. We throw a lot of waste. We throw billions, more than 1 billion ton of waste a year. The collection of waste, now we are actually, most of the world is working on a linear economy.
Right.
You buy the waste from, so you buy the food from the supermarket.
Right.
You eat some of it, and then you have food left over. You have food waste. You throw it to a trash can. Then a truck is coming and pick it up and take it for a far away. Sometimes it can drive for 4 hours to a far away landfill. And actually, most of the waste is going to landfills and it go to the ground. And then the methane gas is going out to the atmosphere. Now, the solution that home biogas is bringing is transforming from linear economy to circular economy.
Right.
Same food we bought from the supermarket, or we even grow by ourselves. We eat some of it. The leftover, the food leftover, we will put it in the home biogas system.
Right.
The home biogas system will break down the organic matter and will produce a biogas. The biogas is composed from methane.
Got it.
The biogas we will use for cooking or for heating water. So
let me understand this. You not only remove the methane from which is the harmful part of the food waste, but you're then creating energy out of it. So you're returning something for beneficial reuse in this planet. So we don't have to further destroy our planet with more non-sustainable energy sources.
Exactly. We're taking the problem and turns it into a solution.
I love it. For our listeners and our viewers who just joined us, we've got Oshik Efrati with us. He's the CEO and co-founder of Home Biogas. You can find Home Biogas at www.homebiogas.com. Oshik, what year did you found this company, you and your partners? What year did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, we founded the Home Biogas in 2012.
12. So that's important because you just made a great point that 2021, and I fully agree with you, is a turning point where the world is finally waking up that the science is real, climate change is real, and we've got to do something now before we let this beautiful planet burn down. So how were the first 9 years? Was it very difficult getting people to listen to you and understand what you're trying to do, how big the problem was, and how good your solution was?
And that's a great question because actually, at the beginning, when I was telling people about what we are going to do, so they didn't really understand what we're going to do, produce gas, we're going to do trash cans. What are you going to do? And then when you were explaining them, they will look at you as a tree hugger or something like that. They don't really understand. And when I was telling them it's a new technology that we are developing. So it's a startup. It was something strange, and we were actually we felt that, and we're still feeling that we are a pioneering that has a huge mission, much more bigger than us to do here. It's a mission-driven company.
Right.
And so at the first year, it was hard, and we needed partners, we needed investors. So only, people like Ron Gonen and the closed loop were
right,
fenced enough and open enough with the same mission, with the same values. And by the way, it's beautiful to see along this journey also how the closed loop become big and the impact they are doing. So so I think along these 9 years, almost 10 years, we became from pioneers that pushing our solution. Now people are looking at us as heroes, and it's very nice because suddenly you get invited to podcast with John, and you get invited to be the prime minister and the president.
I heard congratulations. In the last couple of weeks, you met the prime minister. How was that?
Yeah.
How did that work? How did that feel?
It felt good. It felt really good, mostly because for me, the understanding that the leadership of Israel and the leadership of the world, the leadership of the US, President Biden, is now took the climate change at the top priorities. At the top priorities, and it's so important. And it's not only important for us; it's important for our kids. And it's a very, very good year for this subject. And
so now your technology, I assume, is proprietary. It's something you and your partners invented that doesn't exist anywhere else right now.
Yeah. So like every technology, of course there are competitors, and of course there are alternatives.
Right.
We bring something very unique, and we still invest a lot in innovation. I think it's in our blood to innovate and improve ourselves.
Right. So your great invention, your great company now turns the methane of food waste into an energy source. So have you developed this for home use, Oshik, or is this for commercial, or is this both?
Yeah. So we started with homes. The first mission was to bring solutions to developing countries. to the places where I told you before about Africa, East Asia, those places that they don't have energy for cooking, so they use a firewood. So the first product that we developed was a home biogas system for families, and it's still very successful. We got to customers, to users, to families in more than 100 countries around the world. Families in Africa and East Asia, in India, Nepal, Mexico, Brazil, the US, Australia.
Is that the map behind you? Is changing people's lives all over the globe? Is that where all your systems are?
Yes.
Already all over the place. Wow.
Yes, and it's growing. And yes, so we started with families, and then the next stage was to tackle the problem of industrial kitchens waste.
Right.
Industrial kitchens are responsible for a huge amount of food waste, and they need to pay for the collection. The cost of treating the waste is going up year by year, and the regulation against taking the organic waste into landfill is become strict.
Right.
So those industrial kitchens are looking for solutions. Industrial kitchen, including hotels, restaurants, universities, hospitals.
Right.
So they pay a lot for collecting the waste, and they also pay a lot for energy. And we bring them now a new product. Actually, it's a new product that we worked on for the last 3-4 years, and we just started now the implementation of it. It's a very innovative product, beautiful, that we put it near a restaurant or near an industrial kitchen of a hotel. And the food waste is going directly to the biogas system. The biogas system treats it, converts it into biogas that goes back to the kitchen as energy normally for either heating water or electricity. And it's also producing liquid fertilizer for using it for local use.
Wow.
And then
so are you selling this all around the world now, or only Israel? Or is this for sale? If I'm watching you right now from Paris and I have a hotel or a restaurant, can I buy your system right now for my restaurant or hotel in Paris?
And so, for now, we only launch it in Israel. Next year, we're going to bring it to the US. This is the next market.
Right.
We're going to do it together with a closed loop. We already have very, very interesting projects that are now, we are processing them. Very, very interesting projects. Even projects that we haven't thought that we will do, like multi-family houses.
If I want to put your system in my house in California just for the home use, when will it be available to homeowners in the United States and other parts of the world to buy for our home use?
Yeah. So now we have three channels of sales. One is online. You can buy it online.
Wow.
You can order it and we ship it to you. Secondly, we have distributors that are representing us. Now we have distributors in 20 countries around the world. And third, we are doing projects with international organizations. It can be like the UN or WWF. But for California, for now, you can buy it online.
That's exciting. So take your entrepreneur hat off and put your salesman hat on. So now, when I was going to buy solar for my house, I want to buy it to save the world and planet, but I also like that I'm going to save money because now I'm going to have solar on my house. Is there a similar sales approach to home biogas? Not only am I doing something good for the planet, but will it save my family money, or is it cost neutral? How does that work for a family or a hotel that wants to buy this and thinking about the return on investment for the environment, but for also the organization that buys it?
Yeah. So the good thing is that it's not only helping the environment, it's also saving costs. And the return of investment is normally less than 2 years.
Wow. So it's like solar. It's like you're really following the same solar model.
Yeah, we are working on a model that is a win-win for everyone.
I love it. I just love it. So wait a second now. You've developed this great thing. You're sitting in Israel. You've got all sorts of distribution and sales opportunities. When you and your partners sit in a room together and you dream about how big the problem is and what your solution is, how is this going to work? The problem sounds huge. I mean, the problem of food waste sounds massive, actually. And it doesn't get a lot of TV or media attention, unfortunately. It's not very sexy. But talk about your solution and the opportunity to solve this problem over the next 10 years.
So, yeah, our mission is to bring a revolution to the existing way of treating waste. So organic waste is only it's 40 or 50% of the waste. But once you take care of the organics, the other can be recycled. So actually, it's part of a bigger revolution of recycling all the waste we are producing. Now, we are at the beginning, we developed system for developing countries. Now we took it to institutions. The next stage will bring it to multi-family houses and to advanced houses. So eventually we want to bring solutions to people to recycle their waste, to save money on energy, save money on waste collections, and to make it affordable and available to all.
So that's beautiful. So you're going to democratize your system will democratize the food waste problem. It will be the food waste problem solution that you eventually democratize around the world.
Once you understand that food waste has value, you cannot throw it away. It's like, money, $1, it's only paper. Right. It's only paper.
Right.
Now, I have here paper. It's also a paper.
Okay.
But don't throw $10 to the garbage, right? Like I will throw this. Why? Because it has value.
Right.
So the same with food, it has value. So once you understand, just to understand, okay, 1 kilogram of waste, which is something like what you have left over from cooking a lunch for your family.
Right.
Is you can create 1 hour of cooking gas. From this waste, you can, if you put it in a biogas system, it will produce gas that will enable you to cook 1 hour. It's a lot.
Well,
it's a lot.
Well, how about the big waste companies like Waste Management, Republic Services? Well, are they great opportunities for you too to work with them so they can recycle food waste on their MRFs and other places, so they don't have to throw this into their landfills and take up space in their landfills anymore?
Yeah, sure. All sources of food waste can be treated. Okay, almost all sources of food waste can be treated on site.
Right.
And eventually, that's the future. This is where the world will go. There will be no reason to collect it and take it to a landfill.
And this is going to help shift us, as you said, generationally from a linear economy, which you and I grew up in, to a circular economy that our children and grandchildren will live in.
Yeah, exactly. The linear economy has started not long ago, and it's destroyed it. It destroyed our planet.
Right.
And we will go back to circular economy with solutions, technological solutions that actually will improve our life will improve our life, will make it cleaner, and will also reduce costs that will be more economical.
You know, for our listeners and viewers out there, we're so honored to have with us from Israel today, Oshik Efrati, CEO and co-founder of Home Biogas. You can find Home Biogas and buy their great products at www.homebiogas.com. Oshik, tell me the truth here. When you and your partners are sitting together over dinner or lunch, and you dream about this amazing solution you've created, are you going to become the Tesla of food waste recycling?
First of all, we have big dreams, and I believe that we came here to fulfill them. But about Tesla, it's interesting because now, actually, these days, there is the biggest experiment of living on Mars. Living on Mars. And they took a biogas system to this experiment. So you can see astronauts are using home biogas.
Come on. Which is it, SpaceX, or which company is using it to go to Mars with? And is there a certain company or a bunch of the different?
It's a huge project that they chose it from all over the world. There are participant astronauts that come, and they do it in desert in Israel.
Wow.
And they use home biogas. So
that's exciting. Congratulations. I love it.
It reminds me of Tesla, Elon Musk, and the Mars dream. So maybe one day we will bring home biogas to Mars.
I love it. So what's the next step? What do you want our listeners and viewers to think about? Do you want them to go on your site and buy a system for their house now? Or do you want, if they work in a restaurant or a large facility, a stadium, or some other place that creates a lot of waste, to contact you? What's the takeaway for our listeners and viewers? Because we love to give them points of action, some calls to action to help become part of the solution and help support your great opportunity and venture.
Yeah. So first of all, everything starts with awareness. So first of all, be aware that after you throw the waste and the food waste to the trash can, try to understand where it goes next, and understand the problems it creates if it goes with a truck to a landfill. So the next stage is try to find solution to reduce the waste. And the next stage, find solutions to recycle it, or to even better, upcycle it. To use the waste as a source for something new, source of energy, or source of as a new raw material. Now, if you need help to recycle your food waste, so we are here. We will love to help you. It doesn't matter if you're a family, a business, a restaurant, a hotel, or a businessman that want to create something new with us. So we are here to help you.
Oshik, what I find with great people like you, great leaders like you, is you've mastered a form of courage. Like you said, you learned in the military about courage, but obviously you're applying it as an entrepreneur, because it takes a lot of courage to do what you're doing, to not go work for somebody, to actually go try to solve a big problem. Talk a little bit about the courage that you learned about and are exhibiting at your company, and what can our next generation learn from you about when you're called, when the call comes, because we're all going to get called in one way, shape, or form, how to make sure you're ready to answer the call, whether it was when you were in the military or when you had this epiphany to start Home Biogas. How do you know how to answer the call, and how do you have courage to answer the call?
Okay. So I think that we came here to this planet, to this life, to do something meaningful with the years that we got to live here.
Right.
And to do something meaningful, sometimes it will be challenging. Most of the time it will be challenging.
Yeah.
And courage can come only in places where you have fear. So fear is part of the process, and the courage is only help you to go forward, not to stop and go backwards. Now, I think that our generation, and even more the young audience that is looking at us, the people that finish now universities, that are going into that are looking for their next career. I think this generation will not go only for a career that will bring, for looking for money or I don't know. I think this generation has now a mission to fix what the old generation has done wrong. You know, this podcast is about impact. Now, if you look 20 or 30 years ago, businesses only care about doing money. And then I think at the beginning of the 2000, it was starting to speak about do no harm.
Right.
And then it
Google.
a step forward. It was do money and do good,
right? Which
is now the impact. You can do money and do good. But if it's not doing good, if it's not, and the impact now, this generation, if it's not doing good, so you don't want any part of it. You will not buy those products, you will not support it. And this is the future. So I think if we have young entrepreneurs or people that are looking for the next career, so I think this generation has a mission now to bring solutions to make the world a better place on climate change, on there are actually lots of subjects that you can do good. And the good news is that there are many opportunities.
That's right.
Many opportunities to do good and do much.
You know, Oshik, you know, I feel like we really do have the same older brother, like in Ron, but I feel so close to you in terms of your mission. You're so right. It's so much. The next generation is learning from people like you that it's more than just a paycheck or a profit. It's about purpose. It's about purpose. And you're a great example. I can't wait myself to have a home biogas system at my home and tell my children about what you're doing so we get it in their home. I want to thank you for being on today's show. I love this statement above your head there, changing people's lives all over the globe. Home biogas, he's Oshik Efrati. You can find Home Biogas and buy his great products or contact him about what you need and what help you need wherever you are in the world at www.homebiogas.com. Oshik, you're always welcome back on Impact to continue to share your journey. I really wish you all God blessings, and I want you to continue your great mission of making a huge impact and making the world a better place. Thank you for joining us today. It's my total honor.
Thank you, John. It was a pleasure for me. Take care. Hope to meet you in person soon. All the best.
This episode of the Impact Podcast is brought to you by Closed Loop Partners. Closed Loop Partners is a leading circular economy investor in the United States with an extensive network of Fortune 500 corporate investors, family offices, institutional investors, industry experts, and impact partners. Closed Loop's platform spans the arc of capital from venture capital to private equity, bridging gaps and fostering synergies to scale the circular economy. To find Closed Loop Partners, please go to www.closedlooppartners.com.